Hey, what's cracking, everyone? Today we're going to dig into episode 2 of the Kill 'Em All series. Coming up is the Four Horsemen on rhythm guitar. Let's check it out. Alright, so the intro to the Four Horsemen starts out with 4 simple chords that sound like this. Okay? So those are 4 power chords, a C power chord on the 3rd fret of the A string and the 5th of the D, continuing that shape down to the low E string, 3rd fret for G, and then coming up to D on the 5th fret of the A string, back down to C. So, pretty easy, right? Now, the next part really starts with the main part of the song. So, let's get into that. We start off with our ring finger on the 7th fret of the A string, while simultaneously hitting the low E string at the same time. So that'll sound like this. Okay, so it's an octave, E and E. Coming out of that, we alternate between the 7th and the 5th fret of that same string, like this. Alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now take note of the rhythm here. The rhythm is very centered around a triplet type of feel. The song's in 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But the whole rhythm is ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da, which is like a triplet, right? So it seems like it's in a compound meter, but really it's in 4, just with a triplet feel, right? Okay, so coming out of that part, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. On that 4th beat, we hit the low E string on the 7th fret. And we go through again, repeat it, and we hit a pull-off section. 7th fret, 5th fret, then 7th, 5th on the D, pull-off, 7th, 5th on the A, pull-off. So... Alright, so the next section of the song is the verse section. And remember before when I was talking about those triplets, those fast triplets, triplet, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Every single beat has that triplet in between. And for this riff, you have to be especially cognizant of that. So check this out. Hear that? Triplet, boom, triplet, boom, triplet, boom, 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 triplet, boom, triplet, boom, triplet, boom. Okay? So you really need to learn how to dig into those triplets the right way. So the picking for this part, down, up for the chord. So you go down, triplet, 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 triplet. And then up for the chord. Triplet chord, triplet chord, triplet chord, chord. Those last 2 chords are downstrokes. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. Now let's talk about that chord progression for a little bit. So it's down, up, down, E, down, up, down, E, down, up, down, E, D, D, down, up, down, E, down, up, down, E, down, up, down, D, C, D, down, up, down, E, down, up, down, E, down, up, down, E, G, E, C, G, D, C. Notice how they brought the intro back around for the ending of that verse section. Very clever songwriting. So that's the chorus section of the song, and basically, it's pretty simple. We just have 4 chords that roll through there in power chord format. So it starts off with an E power chord, a little thing, coming down to a D power chord, coming down to a C power chord, then to a B with a pick slide in between. We'll do it again. E, D, C, B, C, B, G. So that section is obviously, not too complicated, not too much going on there. But the main thing we have to remember is that we need to remember that triplet rhythm, right? The triplet bump, 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 the triplet bump. If you don't have that, the part is just not going to sound good at all, right? The triplet bump, the triplet bump, the triplet bump. Picking is always important. First rule about anything with guitar playing is that if your picking is not there, you're going to be sunk. You're going to be burnt toast. You're going to be down at the bottom of the ocean with who knows what. We haven't even charted a massive amount of the ocean as of yet. And you're going to be down there because of your right-hand technique is just not, it's not even in the ballpark. It's not even in the same development. It's not even there. But we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. So here it is. So the way you're going to do this part, and I know it seems like I'm stressing something extremely simple, but it's important. Check it out. So you're going to start off by going like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so we got down, up, 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 down, up. So it alternates every single time. So you have to get used to using both down picking, downstrokes, and upstrokes in order to get through this, right? So if you were listening to me a few seconds ago, this bridge riff follows the exact same principle of the down, up, 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 down, right? But instead, we're just adding these power chords in between of an F and an E. Just like that. F, F, E, F, F, E, F, F, E. While it seems like I'm stopping and starting a lot with these riffs, I want to make it clear that there's a lot of detail in these songs that I want to portray. I want to get across to you as best as possible so that you're not missing out on anything, right? There's a lot of fine details. And yes, this riff does appear later in the song in a longer form, right? And I'm going to get to that. However, let's go with this short little segment first, and then we'll get there later. So basically what we're doing is another triplet rhythm. I've said it before. This triplet rhythm is sort of is a little mischievous because the entire song is in a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's not in a compound rhythm. It's in a simple rhythm, but the feel is in triplets. So here's what we're going to kind of work through. So we start with the 7th fret of the A string, and we go down to the 5th. And then down to the 7th of the E. That's your first triplet. Now, a mistake that people commonly make when they're playing guitar is they don't subdivide everything as they're learning it. They just see the tab. They just see the tab and they say, oh yeah, that's all the notes. Obviously, that's all there is to it, right? Meanwhile, they're playing the riff like this. And not even getting close to the rhythm of the song, right? And that's what makes all these songs awesome, is the great rhythm, the feel, everything that they put into the music that, you know, makes it happen. So here we're going to subdivide every single triplet that we see. So we have 7-5-7, 5-7-6, 5-3-5 on the E, 0-3-5, 7-5-7, 5-7-6, 5 on that hard downbeat. And that's the whole part. So this next section involves another riff containing these notes. And all downpicking, by the way. You should, anytime there's a slow enough rhythm in a Metallica song where you can downpick, do it. Because that's James Hetfield's style. Honestly, it's part of what makes him an individual and unique guitarist in his own right, is all that downpicking. But anyway, the riff starts with a double on the open E string, and then 5-7. Then we have this 8-7-5-7. Now let's take a look at that real quick. So what's going on there? Now, it might not seem it, but Metallica's getting a little modal in this section. Now, a lot of people just learning guitar or kind of in the intermediate stages might not understand what modes are, but this particular part is clearly, to me, a modal section, and specifically within the Phrygian mode. Reason being is because if we see E as the center of our musical universe within the Four Horsemen, then because we have this F, which is a flat 2, that sounds nice, doesn't it, right? But when we resolve it, it sounds great, right? So we mix that Phrygian sound of the flat 2 resolving to the 1, and then going to a flat 7, of course, but then we have this, which is a flat 6 power chord, natural 6 power chord, flat 7 power chord. Now, of course, the band was not thinking in these terms when they wrote this. But I'm here to tell you that this is what's actually happening. That sort of is the technical explanation for why it sounds so freaking cool, right? So there's a mixture of Phrygian elements, and then with this mode mixture brought about by chromatic power chords. C, C sharp, D gives you a flat 6, a natural 6, and a flat 7 sound to it. So let's take a look at that solo rhythm that was just played. The solo is based around 4 chords. It kind of brings back the chorus chord progression, where it's E minor, D, C, and B major. But how they get through it is very, very interesting, because they don't use the stereotypical voicings like, hey, let's go E minor, D, C, B7, right? That would have been too boring for them. But here instead, they have this sort of, it's almost like they're bringing Lynyrd Skynyrd into their song. I remember when I was in middle school, this reminded me of Sweet Home Alabama, because it had the same rhythm to it. The chord progression couldn't have anything further to do with it, but I compare that to Sweet Home Alabama. So let's take a look at these chords. So basically what we have is we're holding down an A, the D, and the G string. The 2nd fret of the A, 2nd fret of the D, 4th fret of the G. And we're using that as our chord. Now this is just an E power chord, just in a different order than you're used to seeing. So we're starting on the D string. Then we're moving down to this D voicing, where my pinky is on the 5th fret of the A string, D, which is the root. My pointer is draped across the D and the G on the 2nd fret. So that gives me a 5th and a 2. So this is like a D sus 2. Cool sound. Next we have a C major 7, where we have our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, which is C, the root. Pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, which is the 3rd of the chord. And the pinky on the 4th fret of the G, which is the major 7th. So those 3 notes, C, E, B, make up that chord. So here it is. Once again, by itself, it sounds pretty cool, right? Exactly. Next up, we have the last chord. So here, we're just barring the 2nd fret on the A, D, and G string, like this. And that's all it is, right? Very simple. Now, just because it's simple doesn't mean intellectually it's simple, because it's not. Here, we're actually playing a chord called a B7 sus 4, because we have the B on the A string, the flat 7 on the G, and the sus 4 on the D. Combined, that makes, right? B7 sus 4.